Meow, Huples cat. Just going to show repairing of N95s. So I baked them for 170, and when they come out, some of them have already got broken straps, so these need repairing. This is kind of nearing the end of its life, but it needs repairing. And these generally work okay. And you have to put them and make sure they're okay. So that's going to be used tonight. So I'll just quickly look for any broken ones. Find some broken ones. It's not broken. Okay. Not great either. Yep, they're all good. However, this type of N95 mask, when you take it out, tends to have problems with this. They threw Canada's stockpile away because these straps are broken, and it's a common thing with these. They also stick here to each other, so you have to gently peel them away. But so old masks can be reused. So how do you do it? Well, I need to get this strap done, and this is broken, so what do? You can also do it with these types of masks and make them a lot better than just the ear loops. You can put the head strap around them. So as you can see, got a few masks need to be fixed here. In the right state these are. So it doesn't matter what you get, but you can get something like this, which is used in healthcare very cheaply, a single use, which is terrible, but single use, to occlude veins, to take blood. And here's one I prepared earlier, and I get 3 strips out of it. Now how do you know the length of the strip you need? That's a good question, isn't it? What you actually do is this. You put it on here like that, and you pull it around, and you find the length of the strip is like that. And then you cut that. And you have the straps. So here's one I prepared earlier that fits. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. I'm going to do both. The first way is using super glue, and the second way is actually using staples. You can use both, and in fact I would recommend you use both. So when you've got your shape measured, put it on first before you cut all the rest of them, because you want to make sure it actually fits. So tidy away all the strap bits you can find. Of course, make sure the masks themselves are in good condition. Get super glue. Get yourself some super glue. Be very careful not to get it on your hands. And if you're like me and you're blind as a bat, what you need to do is you need to take your glasses off to have a look. Old age and poverty. Put some super glue on. Get the strap. And attach the strap. Now this is where stapling as well helps, because you can stay well away from the super glue bit. And this one needs 2 straps. Mostly they'll just need 1 strap, and usually it's the lower strap. See, this one's damaged, so I'll take it off. Because I don't want to interfere too much with this, I will just literally redo it over where the broken part is. And that's going to work. And then you do the same on this side. The only difference with this side is that you want to be very careful you don't twist the straps. Remember, comfort is the absolute key here. Now I'm using these hospital hemostats, but I haven't used them yet, but I'm being told that old pantyhose, or even new pantyhose, cut and twisted is by far the best way of doing this. in terms of replacing straps. Now obviously, like I said, don't cut all of your straps at the same time. Cut 1, 2 or 3 initially. Test them on a mask. Give it a good half an hour to seal. And then see if the mask actually has a strong seal on your face. Now you can also do this, like I said, with basic general surgical masks to reuse them. Now some people are baking them like me, some people are washing them, and other people are just throwing away because they have a ton of them. I do actually have a ton of them. You can leave these on in case the strap breaks, and then you can use it as they originally intended, or you can cut them off. Depends on what you feel like doing. But I'm just going to show you how this actually works. You have to decide which side it is, and the white side generally is inside, blue side or green or pink is generally outside, and you generally put the strap on the outside. Now I can hear everybody saying, but the staples cut a hole in it. Yeah, they do. None of these repairs, none of these recycling is going to work effectively as a brand new single purpose mask. You just have to understand and accept that and do the best job you can given the circumstances, which is inadequate supplies and extremely costly supplies where they are adequate. Now the lifespan of these masks for me varies between 1 use for some of the old ones of these and 5 to 6 uses for these types. These tend to be breaking a lot, and it's because they have the cotton straps which are elasticated, and they tend to fray at the beginnings here, so I tend to redo them quite a bit. But I'm not altogether convinced that these are any good right now. Like I say, we're having a second wave globally, and certainly a second spike in Canada and Ontario where I am. So I want masks that are actually either brand new or hardly recycled, because I want them to be as effective as possible. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, and I'm not going to try them on because I want to make sure the super glue's dry because of my gorgeous hair, which Kitty is going to cut at some point in the near future. I'm kind of reluctant to let her do it because I know she's going to savage my beautiful hair, but at the end of the day, that's what you do. You take your old masks and you find the bits that are working and you find the bits that are now broken, and rather than trying to repair these, which is what I have been doing, just remove them. Remove them entirely and replace them with rubber or plastic or pantyhose or anything that's going to be tight but allow expansion. The reason being that if you don't allow it to expand, if it's just a solid piece of rope, you're not getting the adherence of the mask to your face when you're moving around and talking. And that is absolutely critical. So yeah, this is what they should have done in Ontario. They should have got the pandemic supply, handed it out to us people who are working front line, given us a bunch of these and said fix them. But like I say, they haven't even at this point done decent public information announcements about how to actually wear a mask safely and how to take a mask off safely. So that's a huge error. Like, I'm not sure who's actually in charge of the pandemic responses, but they just are absolutely diabolical. You can't tell people not to wear masks like they did in a pandemic, an airborne pandemic, and think that's okay. And then having realised that you are killing people that way, you can't then say, well, everybody has to wear a mask now, but make no efforts to tell people how to wear masks. It isn't something that anybody sane or rational would do. And although a lot of people out there actually believe this is a conspiracy to kill us all off and for Agenda 21, it isn't. It's just sheer incompetence. They're focusing on the wrong things. It's like the failure of test and track and tracing, because there's too many people to be tracked. So they gave up rather than find more people, and there's a lot of unemployment. Find more people to do it. And all it actually is you call somebody up and say, hey, Were you at the bar on the night of the 13th of November? Because if you were, you might have been in contact with somebody you need to go into quarantine right now, and you need to make sure that you get tested. And who else have you been in contact with? Where else have you been? And that's what you do. You get people who may have been in contact with an airborne pandemic or any infectious disease to stop going out and about in the world. And that's what is absolutely required. It's more important than masks, it's more important than vaccines in the future, it's more important than distancing, it's more important than anything else. Track and testing is way more important than anything else, and it's been completely ignored, which isn't great. So in terms of the integrity of the mask, what I'm doing with the integrity of the mask is I'm not actually removing the original repair, because these are repairs that I did. When I put the new strap on, the strap will go on over the top of this. I want to interfere as little as possible with the structural integrity of this. So it's reasonably dry, and this is not the way to test if it goes reasonably dry. And as I always say, make it a little bit expand. And then when you put the mask on, wash your hands first before you put a mask on. When you put it on, both straps over in my opinion. Top strap above the ears, clear of the ears, put it on. How does it feel? Does it move? Does it loose? These straps are actually a lot better than the original straps. But I wouldn't replace the original straps until they need replacing. As I said, any interference with the mask, any attempt to recycle the mask is not a good idea. When you take it off, don't touch this. When you take it off, wash your hands. 20 seconds open water, 30 seconds alcohol. This is how I take it off. It is not the official way. I get both straps. I stop talking, I stop breathing, and I gently pull them forward. And then in the garbage or into the recycling. Into recycling in my case. So that's it. How are you guys out there dealing with the N95 shortage? Are you just relying on surgical masks? Are you relying on medical masks? Are you relying on bandanas? Do you have N95s left? If so, are you hoarding them for a specific reason? At what point are you going to start using N95s? For me, the point has come with large and sudden rise in community spread. It's actually better to wear N95s before the numbers spike because it's already spreading. Remember, it's testing and sickness, so it comes after the mass infection. But I've been wearing N95s the whole time, both at work and in stores, which is I don't go to very often. But I'm now using a much better quality of N95 than these ones. These ones are okay, they work. They are not as efficient seal as these, but they work. And whilst community numbers were down, that's what I was doing. So if you have a very limited number of N95s or surgical masks, one of the things you might want to do is once you've repaired it, you might want to make an indicator on the inside if you're shy, or on the outside if you're not, and put down the number of times it's been reused. Because that's a really important thing. You don't want to keep using and using and using to the point where they're not working. And you'll tell that because breathing will become a lot easier when it's not working very well. In fact, over time, there's some suggestion that the N95s become more efficient because of the blocking of the area. But again, who knows really? This is all guess. It's best to use single use. We're not able to, so we don't. So what I generally do is I just write the date on them. Fortunately, this is not recyclable. That's all from me. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. If you feel like subbing me, feel free. If you don't, don't. If you want to give me a thumbs up, please do. If you don't, don't. But I think what's more important is to actually communicate in the comment section, both to me and to other people. Remember to keep it clean, reasonably, and keep it interesting. People need to be given ideas that they may not have come up with. I am not an aerosol expert, I am not an IPNC expert, I'm just an old ICU nurse, and I'm just currently a hospital administrator. So I have more of an idea than somebody else maybe out there in the public online, but I'm not an expert. I can be wrong, and where I am wrong I need to know so I can tell people. Doodles. Track and testing. This is a Cats on a Snowy Day production, 2020.